blatantly disregarded everything that I told you to do.
Roto 462, sorry, we were looking at the wrong traffic.
462, that's why I'm controlling, and I told you who you were following, the guy on shore. Find him, not the guy 3 miles. There's a big difference.
Hi everybody, it's Meredith. So the title of today's video is Urban Airport Survival Skills. And this involves more than just making sure you have a safe place to land in case of an engine failure after takeoff. I've already done several videos on that topic. This is more about dealing with the busy human environment and the aspects involved with that. So if you're a pilot who flies in an urban environment, there's a good chance that you may be operating out of an airport with a control tower. So how can pilots and air traffic controllers work together to increase aviation safety? First and foremost, we need to learn to be kind to one another, to really be patient and listen to one another. Look, we all make mistakes. Controllers make mistakes, pilots make mistakes. We're all human. No one is immune. If you're an air traffic controller, you should keep in mind that the pilot you're talking to may be having a hard time right at that moment. Maybe he or she is dealing with some sort of abnormal or unusual situation in the cockpit.
Before I go any further, I want to give a big shout out to Bass Aviation. This YouTube channel puts out incredible content that's very useful for pilots, so thank you very much for all you do.
Tower, that Warrior just departed the right main gear strut and wheel just fell off the airplane.
Roger. Warrior 2496 X-ray Tower.
Yeah.
Okay, Warrior 2496 X-ray, the Waco just said that your right main is now missing from the airplane. It is fallen off the airplane. Say your intentions.
Can I circle back to land?
Warrior 906 X-ray, affirmative. Are you a solo, ma'am?
I'm a student pilot solo, yeah.
Okay, it'll be okay. Just go ahead and circle the airport for now. Make a right turn to circle. We're going to get some people out to help you, okay?
Okay.
Pattern altitude 1,100, and you can make a right turn out, okay?
Okay.
Maybe an equipment failure, a strange reading on an instrument, maybe a passenger is being distracting or having a problem.
I'm starting to feel like the lightheaded thing.
Oh, you're a little lightheaded?
Yeah, I don't know why.
How you feeling?
Not the best. I don't know.
Maybe the pilot is dealing with adverse weather that you can't see on your radar screen, and he just hasn't told you about it yet.
I think I passed the airport, or I'm beneath it. I'm like on top of it.
Okay, 630, can you see any ground reference?
630, yeah, I can see, but not. But yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, every time I'm descending, I'm clearing up, you know.
Okay, maintain VFR and just keep going to the southwest. So if you're up in that direction, you need to come on that heading to get down in this area. So the visibility down here at this airport is 3 miles, but it's very, very hazy.
If you're a pilot, you need to remember that the controller that you're talking to could be overstressed, overworked, his facility might be understaffed, or he could just be simply having a bad day because his dog died yesterday, or he just got divorced. You never know what's going on in someone else's life, so we really have to make an effort to be empathetic and patient.
Dana and I opened Holiday Aviation here at Craig Airport in the fall of 2013. Since then, we've seen a major increase in air traffic volume, partly due to the so-called airline pilot shortage, and partly due to a huge influx of people moving to the Jacksonville area. The City Council has considered several proposals to extend the runways, but the community has consistently opposed any efforts to improve flight safety because they fear it will increase traffic and noise. Yet the traffic came anyway, so here we are, stuck in the middle of a dense urban area with few options for relief. How much more traffic can we handle, or have we already gone too far?
You don't have to be a driver in a big city like New York or Chicago or Los Angeles to understand the concept of road rage. You've probably experienced it yourself, even in a mid-size or even a small town. Someone's on their phone, not paying attention, sitting at the red light, doesn't know that it turns green, the other person honks, someone flips someone off or does something to upset the other person. We've seen it happen. Sometimes when things escalate, it can get really ugly. People can get run off the road. Sometimes people shoot at each other. It can get really nasty out there. And so we all have to learn to control our emotions when we're driving, and also when we're in the airplane or in the control tower. So just like road rage can be dangerous or even deadly, flight rage can be dangerous or deadly also. If you're a pilot getting very agitated at a situation in the air, you might make a mistake that could cause injury to yourself or someone else. If you're an air traffic controller and you're working a busy radar scope or tower, and you find yourself getting really anxious and upset about the activities that are going on around you, we all need to find a way to just come back to our, ground ourselves a little bit and come back to a place where we can look at the situation objectively and keep our emotions under control. Because if we let them escalate while we're trying to do our jobs, we could get into big trouble.
400 Foxtrot, you're following Cessna traffic there, heading to your left slightly, 1,900 feet, about 4 miles west of the airport, going to a 2-mile left base as well for runway 5.
Look for that traffic following this left base, runway 5, 400 Foxtrot.
Bucket 321, start your base, runway 14, you're clear for the option.
That's base, runway 14, clear the option, Bucket 321.
Track 99725, runway 5, clear to land, hold short of runway 14, 3,600 feet available.
Clear to land on runway 5. 99725 and hold short of 14.
Correct tower, Bucky 332, hold short of 23 at Foxtrot, ready for departure via far south.
Bucky 332 tower, runway 23 at the Foxtrot intersection, clear for takeoff, left turn on course.
Clear for takeoff, 23 Foxtrot, left turn on course, Bucky 332.
The scenario that's about to unfold falls under what the FAA refers to as opposite direction operations. When two aircraft are using opposite ends of the same runway, in this case, one aircraft is departing runway 23, while another has been cleared to land on runway 5, the tower is supposed to provide traffic advisories to both aircraft. I'm not so sure that happened here. The FAA Aeronautical Information Manual recommends that pilots of departing aircraft remain on the ground control frequency during taxi and run-up, and then switch to the tower or local control frequency when ready for takeoff. It also recommends monitoring the local tower frequency as soon as practical. I wonder if the pilot of Bucky 332 had been monitoring Craig Tower during his run-up and prior to holding short of runway 23, would he have heard the tower clear November 99725 to land on runway 5? And if he did, would he have declined his takeoff clearance? Remember, the pilot in command is responsible for the safety of the flight. You can, and should, deviate from any ATC instruction if you feel that complying with that instruction would jeopardize your safety. You probably remember your mother telling you as a kid, if a friend tells you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
Tower 9 November Romeo, you alright if we can start our northbound turn?
9 November Romeo, I gave you a right downwind departure to the north, didn't I?
Alright, make the turn, 9 November Romeo, thanks.
Correct tower, that's a 3704 Lima. What pattern would you like us to block?
04 Lima, runway heading as I instructed you to do.
Runway heading, 3704 Lima.
Craig Tower, November 11906 Mike, holding short 23 and Fox, ready for south departure.
Skyhawk 11906 Mike, tower, hold short, runway 14. Skyhawk 99725, just give me a left turn head due northbound for me now.
Let's pause a moment to consider just how close these two aircraft came to colliding with each other. While only Jack's approach radar can pinpoint their exact locations, it's pretty clear from reviewing the ADS-B data on FlightAware that they likely passed within about 500 feet of each other, vertically and horizontally. This is just a reminder to air traffic controllers that real people with families who love them are in those airplanes that you're talking to.
Left turn, due north, 99725.
Craig Tower, say again, 11906 Mike is holding short of 23, ready for departure.
906 Mike, tower, hold short, runway 23.
Hold short 23, 906 Mike. Hey, Craig Tower, we were clear for takeoff on 23. We had someone coming.
Yep, I got it. He's going northbound now.
5.
Bucky 332, yep, I got it. He's going northbound now.
We're going southbound, Bucky 332.
Yep, I know. You're going southbound, the Cessna's going northbound. We got it.
Hey, I think he lined up on 5. He was established on 5.
We got it. March 400 Foxtrot, your number 1, runway 5, could land, hold short of 14, 3,600 feet available.
Number 1, runway 5, clear to land, 40 Foxtrot.
99725, your number 2, following Archer out there on short final. Number 2, runway 5, you're clear to land, hold short of 14, 3,600 feet available.
Where's the traffic?
It's off your left side there, short final for runway 5.
Alright, clear to land, number 2, runway 5, 75. Hey, Tower Flex 332, just want to verify we were cleared for takeoff 23.
We're there too, yes, you were. It's all good, don't worry, I got it.
So there's lots of airports in the United States that have lots of flight training going on. This is not something that's unique to Jacksonville Executive at Craig. This is a situation where air traffic controllers need to understand that when they're dealing with the student pilots and pilots with relatively low experience levels, including the instructors that are flying with the students, they need to treat them a bit differently than they would treat a professional airline pilot. You know, a student pilot is just getting his or her feet wet in aviation, certainly should be competent to act as pilot in command, but they have a relatively low level of experience. And you can't expect them to respond and behave in the same way as a 20-year airline veteran who's operating at Atlanta Hartsfield International. It's a different situation, and it needs to be treated accordingly.
Entering a right downwind, you're number 3.
Number 3, looking for number 2 traffic on the right downwind, 6100.
Actually, number 4. 6100 Papa, traffic you're following is at the CMAT plant at the Cessna 152. Reduce your speed.
Reducing speed, looking for traffic at the cement plant, 6100 Papa.
This is 00 Papa, you have traffic in sight there just east of the CMAT plant on the right base.
Still looking, 6100 Papa.
It's important that you find these guys as quickly as possible.
6100 Papa, I still don't have them in sight. Can I exit the pattern?
6100 Papa, traffic's at your 1 o'clock on the right base. Just make a normal right turn. This will be a full stop landing.
Normal right turn for full stop landing, 6100 Papa.
If you want to go somewhere else, sir, I'm working too hard.
No problem.
6100 Papa, no, traffic you're following up. This is going to work. I need for you to turn back to the downwind.
Copy, turning downwind. 6100 Papa.
Tower 6100 Papa, we're still negative on that traffic. We turned right there because that's what you told us to do.
6100 Papa, traffic you're following is at your 1 o'clock and a half mile. Traffic now, 60 Papa.
Traffic is in sight now, yes, yeah. We were looking directly into the sun to find them, so you got to kind of manage your expectations for what we're able to do.
I have to manage mine. It's a full stop landing only. You're done. Runway 30, number 3, clear to land.
30, clear to land, and yeah, I'd be happy to talk about it later.
No, it's nothing to talk about.
And Tower 6100 Papa, I totally understand. You're working really hard. We appreciate everything you do, but I need you to mark the tape in case we have to talk about this later.
00 Papa, you can call the company, sir. Runway 30, clear to land.
30, clear to land. Still, you need to mark the tape.
There's no tapes. We're in the 21st century. 6100 Papa, taxi to parking this frequency.
Taxi to parking this frequency, 6100 Papa. And just so I can be clear, you're terminating our flight?
00 Papa, you can go to Palo Alto, sir. I'm working 8 hours by myself today. I just don't have time to work this hard for a student. I'm sorry. I'll go to Palo Alto, we'll work it out.
That's fine, we'll terminate.
So we are chatting again with Dr. Stratton Sturgis, who is one of the local AMEs. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. The controllers obviously have a very stressful job. On average, how many air traffic controllers do you see in your practice a month, a year versus pilots? I'm assuming it's probably less, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm also an FAA delegated employee examiner for air traffic controllers. So I see probably 20 to 25 a month.
Okay.
Most of them from Jack Center and Hilliard, the big Southeast Corridor Tower.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of the new applicants coming through now too for the FAA. I probably see 5 or 6 a month.
Because there has been a lot of new hires. They had a shortage just like pilots.
They're still short. They're still short, and they're still overworked at the center. It's these guys work 6 days on, and it's you can tell they're retired when they come in. And then I also do the Jack's approach at JIA too. So I get about 4 or 5 of those a month. Then I'm also doing the lower towers, like here at Jack's X. You know,
Okay.
I do those guys, the RVA contracted.
Got it.
Those
Okay.
are all second class.
Mm-hmm.
You have to maintain a second class certificate.
Now, is it a second class medical, the same like I would get?
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the exact same thing.
Certificate.
Got
the
it, okay.
contracted pilots or the contracted controllers.
Uh-huh.
Now the FAA employees still have a second class exam, but they typically don't get a certificate unless they are pilots and request one. Then we can issue a second class certificate.
Okay.
EKGs are typically done initially at their first application.
Okay.
At 35, at 40, 45, and at 50 every 2 years. So the exams for the FAA air traffic controllers are every 2 years until age 40.
Okay.
And then annually after that. There's a lot of controllers with some sordid histories out there
Mm-hmm.
that are vetted and they are watched by the RFS. They're reporting directly to the RFS.
What's the RFS?
With the regional flight surgeon.
In general, like the major issues that you think affect air traffic controllers, is it the same as for pilots?
Same, alcohol dependence, drug dependence.
Mm-hmm.
I've had, several of the air traffic controllers who have been on suspension for positive drug screening,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, alcoholism. Medical conditions, I've had a couple that have come in for their EKGs. I've had abnormal EKGs. I've had to defer them so that they can get worked up. It's the same as with the pilot community.
Mm-hmm. I read a study recently in, doing some research for this video, and I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. The study submitted an anonymous survey to air traffic controllers for them to respond to. And I think the total population in the survey, it was only a couple hundred at best, so it was a relatively small population of people. And what they found in the study was that compared to the general population, not the pilot population, but just compared to the general population, the controllers reported orders of magnitude more mental health issues, substance abuse issues than the general population.
That's interesting. I mean, you see that. It is a stressful job, and there's a lot going on. You just don't sit up in the tower and pick your nose. You've got a lot going on, especially in this airport. This is a busy tower.
Yeah, and we've seen this airport grow.
Oh,
I mean, literally before our eyes.
Yeah.
Since Dana and I came here in 2013, everybody feels it, and you can feel the tension.
And you only have 7 or 8 controllers in that tower.
Right.
So they're working hard.
Yeah. And so, as a medical professional, what advice would you give to anybody, whether it's a pilot or a controller, who's like, I am just stressed to the max and I don't know what to do?
Well, as we had talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
you got to protect your mental health.
Right.
If you really are at that breaking point, you can take a leave of absence. You can set up counseling. It's not a bad thing to set up counseling. It's a good thing to set up counseling. I mean, we all go through these times. You got to realize that the FAA is not going to disqualify you for going in for counseling.
Are there different rules on that for controllers? Because I've heard they're a little less likely to go for help because they're afraid of getting fired.
No. And there are some that are in mandated quarterly counseling.
So that is allowable.
Sure. I mean, say someone gets stressed out, okay, and they're looking for some help. Well, they may see a psychologist or they may see a mental health counselor. They may not be diagnosed. They may not have an active diagnosis on there like major depression or general anxiety disorder. It may be just more of like a situational type deal where they just kind of need some perspective to get through the process.
Totally separate from what goes on here, but clearly has been in the public eye over the last year or so, is the fact that these controllers are under a lot of stress and airports are getting squeezed. And we saw what happened
it
was at a Reagan National with
Reagan
the
National, right.
with the CRJ and the helicopter. One of the flight instructor friends that we know here is involved in something called the Pilot Mental Health Campaign. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a not-for-profit organization that's kind of, trying to raise awareness and get pilots who may need some help getting the help that they need rather than just sitting and stewing. So it would be kind of nice, I guess, if controllers also felt like they weren't left out, because that's a very high-stress job.
Well, they're all part of the same community. They're just another different in a different part of the system. But so it's something that I think the FAA has become much more aware of and much more proactive with over the last several years. And they've given us decision tools that have eased some of the constraints of issuance and deferral for certain conditions, depending on the nature, depending on the treatment, the time frame, and that kind of thing. So it's important, and I don't dissuade anyone from seeking help and seeking advice. So it's just you typically can't handle it on your own, and just keep coming back to work. It's like sticking your foot sticking a bad foot in your boot and walking to work. It's just going to fester and blow up.
Yeah, because I'm sure other pilots have different opinions, but from my perspective, when I hear a controller behaving in such a manner, I don't get angry at them. Like, it's not, we're all human and we all have emotions, and we certainly all make mistakes. In fact, I did a video about errors that I've made on ATC. We've all done it, right? So it's not that I'm angry at this controller for making that error that nearly resulted in an accident the other day. Probably on any given day, anybody else could have been, just as likely to make it. But it's when you see a pattern from the pilot's perspective of behavior of someone who's responsible in part for your safety in an air traffic environment, and that person just getting so wound up, when we're stressed, right? Our brains get distracted from the task at hand, right? Sure. And so that concerns me as a pilot, if there's a controller who's so wrapped around the axle and stressed out about whatever. It could be me that he's stressed out about. But I don't need that bounced back at me when I'm trying to fly the plane.
Oh, it's concerning, yeah.
Right? So there has to be a balance. Like, maybe the tower needs to say, okay, dude, time out, right? And I'll take over, go take a smoke break or whatever you need to do to chill out. You know what I mean? But I wonder if they even have the capacity to do that. It could be lack of staffing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where the guy was, there by himself, or there wasn't any backup. But I think, what part of the message I'm trying to relay in the video is that this is a team effort between the pilots and controllers. So pilots, if they see that behavior manifesting, because obviously we can't see it, right? We don't see the controller, but if we observe the situation unfolding, my radar, pun intended, goes up, because I'm like, okay, somebody is going to screw up here. And I don't want to be at the butt end of that screw up. So you get a little more on high alert that somebody's going to make a mistake, and you want to keep that kind of situation from escalating. So it is really important for pilots to maintain a good approach to it, and also for the controllers to recognize that there are humans sitting in those cockpits that are directly affected by their behavior, right?
Yes.
And they need to find a way to cope with it, because otherwise other people are going to suffer.
Yeah, we're all part of the same, group, and everybody's got to watch everybody.
That's right.
To keep everybody safe. So yes, I agree.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much. I
Pleasure
appreciate
as always, Meredith.
Thank you. So now I'd like to share a few clips with you from YouTube of a gentleman who's become known as Kennedy Steve. So Steve was a ground controller at Kennedy International Airport in New York for more than 20 years. And he became famous on the internet when Live ATC was launched, and people started listening to the way that he conducted himself at Kennedy Airport. And if you've never flown into New York, or particularly Kennedy Airport, it's a very, very busy environment with complex taxiway structure, tons of traffic every day, and obviously a very high load, high stress environment. But Steve found a way to de-escalate lots of very tense situations and actually make people laugh. And I think sometimes, in as much as we take ourselves very seriously as pilots and certainly as air traffic controllers, it's also good to learn to take ourselves a little less seriously sometimes, because that can really reduce the stress level and actually improve performance for everyone involved. So check out Kennedy Steve. I hope you enjoy it.
Anybody watching here today, I think a lot of people know who you are. Maybe there's some that are like, I have no idea who Kevin's talking to. I'm talking to a legend over here. You want to fill us in? Who you are? What have you been doing all these years here at JFK?
So I worked at Kennedy for about 24 years. And I guess my notoriety or fame came about because through live ATC, and I had a rather unique way of working ground.
Okay.
Because I figured pilots and controllers, when it's really busy, get really stressed. And I tried to inject as much humor as I could into a very stressful situation.
So we're blaming live ATC, or not really blame it, but live ATC really is what brought you to the foreground, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
Because once the frequency got broadcast over the internet, people started to tune in and listen.
Interesting.
And they heard something different.
Yeah?
It was different.
And what's the difference? How would you describe the difference?
Well, I think most people, when they listen to ATC frequencies, hear pretty standardized robotic transmissions, because in reality, that's kind of the way you're taught to do this.
Right.
When I worked ground, and it was only on ground, I never did it while airplanes were up in the air, because obviously pilots have different levels of intensity that they're going through, and taxiing is not one of the most intense parts of their job.
Right.
You have to kind of try and lighten up the situation when you tell somebody they're number 84 for departure.
Right.
They don't want to hear that. They don't want to sit on the ground for a long time. They don't want to sit in a long conga line of taxiing. So I tried to make it fun.
Makes sense.
Delta 407, where are you planning on entering the ramp tonight?
Mike, looks like Charlie 64 is occupied, and where you want us waited out?
Atlanta.
I hear that.
Delta 407, you know what, you can, let's do this. Left turn on hotel, right turn on Tucci right, hold short of Juliet.
Left turn on hotel, right turn on Tucci right, hold short of Juliet, Delta 407.
Mercury 4209, you're the next contestant, the tower is 1239.
439, have a good night, Mercury 4209.
So I really like flying on Sundays, particularly Sunday evenings, but Alex said she wanted to fly after lunch today, so we're out here at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 planes ahead of me, a couple people staying in the pattern. But Sundays tend to be a little bit less traffic, which is one of the main reasons why I like flying on Sundays.
Correct tower, 400 Foxtrot, holding short, 32 Echo, ready for departure at the pattern.
All right, so we're number 3 for departure now.
Hold short 32 Echo.
Hold short 32 Echo, 400 Foxtrot.
7 Charlie Bravo on your northbound heading, got Cessna just over Sisters Creek there, 1,400.
We're going to go through Mayport Delta, 277 Charlie Bravo.
7 Charlie Bravo, maintain VFR.
So what I'm doing right now while I'm waiting, I'm looking out the window, I see there's a guy on base. I see him on for-flight traffic, but I'm looking also out there to see if there's anybody else inbound. I haven't heard yet. There's a guy coming in from the north.
Correct tower, Sky 277 Charlie Bravo, request frequency change.
7 Charlie Bravo, that's Cessna, inbound from the north is 11 o'clock, a mile and a half, southbound, 1,100.
So that's the guy he just referenced.
Looking for traffic, 7 Charlie Bravo.
7 Charlie Bravo, keep an eye out for that traffic, frequency change approved.
Correct tower, 612 Delta, the 2,800 cleared for the visual runway 32.
6124 Delta, correct tower, report 2 mile final runway 32.
Report 2 mile final for runway 32, 612 Delta.
515 Tango Alpha, left turn when able, ground point 8.
5 Tango Alpha.
53636, Cessna traffic, 11 o'clock, half mile northeastbound, 1100.
Traffic inside 53636.
Archer 400 Foxtrot, runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, make right traffic, report midfield.
32 Echo, clear for takeoff, right pattern, report midfield, 400 Foxtrot.
Cruise next, holding short, 32 at Echo.
Clear check 335.
Craig Tower Cub 656 Charlie Charlie, holding short of 32 at Echo.
24 Delta, you are doing a full stop, correct?
Yeah, I just want to get a field stop to the self-serve, so 6124 Delta.
6124 Delta, roger, runway 32, clear to land.
Runway 32, clear land, 6124 Delta.
656 Charlie, follow the Archer on the upwind, runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, make right traffic, report midfield.
Clear for takeoff 32 at Echo, make right traffic, we'll follow the Archer 656 Charlie Charlie.
November 53636, extend your downwind, look to Cessna, 3.5 mile final.
So the final's clear. I know who I'm following. Ready shrinking?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, wind is pretty light. Here we go. All right, everything's good. Airspeed's alive.
Traffic's 1 o'clock, 1,300.
Traffic inside 53636.
53636, number 2 to follow, runway 32, cleared to land.
Number 2, runway 32, clear to land 53636.
You getting enough air back there, honey?
Not really.
All right, let me just climb a little bit and then I'll fix it, okay?
I turned the cap thing.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, I still see my traffic.
Craig Tower, Archer 400 Foxtrot, right midfield runway 32, request touch and go.
Archer 400 Foxtrot, number 3, following your 12 o'clock traffic, starting base momentarily, runway 32, clear, touch and go.
Number 3, 12 o'clock traffic, runway 32, touch and go, 400 Foxtrot.
Craig Tower, 717 for Quebec. We are at runway 32 at Echo, and we're ready to go.
7176 Quebec, Craig Tower, that makes number 4 in my pattern, hold short 32 at Echo for urban traffic.
76 Quebec, holding short, runway 32 at Echo.
Now, a lot of these guys fly a much wider pattern than I tend to. And I'm not going to willy-nilly follow them in a wide pattern, but you really have to keep them in sight. Like, I know this Archer I'm following is going to be way outside me. I'm okay with that.
Retract 335, extend that 1 tower, call your base.
6 downwind, tower, call base. Clear check 335.
6124 Delta, left turn Alpha 5, pull up to and hold short of taxiway Alpha, in contact ground 121.8.
Turn left to Alpha 5 and hold short Alpha on contact to ground at 121.8. 612 Delta.
Craig Tower Cub 656 Charlie Charlie, midfield 32 for the option.
0.5 miles to your southeast over the coast, landing Craig.
What's the call sign southeast I hear?
Cherokee 4886 Lima.
So I got stepped
Cherokee 4886 Lima, Craig Tower, 4 mile final, runway 32.
Report 4 mile, runway 32. 86 Lima.
656 Charlie Charlie, your number 3, following your 12 o'clock traffic, runway 32, clear, touch and go.
Clear touch and go number 3 behind the Archer 656 Charlie Charlie.
53636, left turn Alpha 5, ground point 8.
All right, so I see the guy ahead of me.
Left turn Alpha 5, ground point 8, 53636.
Project 855, turn base now, Cessna traffic departing prior to arrival, runway 32, cleared to land.
Turning base, runway 32, clear to land.
Number 4886 Lima, just from your current position, square your turn to final. Just continue southwestbound until you're established on final, and report that 4-mile final.
So this guy extended way out.
86 Lima.
Cub 656 Charlie, Charlie, keep it tight to follow that Archer you're following. They are full stop, but they should be off by the time you get here.
656 Charlie, Charlie, welcome.
7176, keep it on roll. 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff. Make right traffic for midfield.
7 suspect, 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff. Make right traffic.
4005 Charlie, left turn Alpha 5, correction Alpha 3, ground point 8.
Left turn Alpha 3, ground point 8, 4005 Charlie.
Who's next? Holding short, 32 at Echo.
739 to the whiskey.
To the whiskey, Cessna traffic's going to be in the right close, runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, right turn to the north of roof behind them.
32 clear for takeoff, right turn to the north, 739 to the whiskey.
9 to the whiskey, Archer traffic, 1 1/4 mile final.
Alright, we'll keep it fast, 9 to the whiskey.
Check 3 to the 5, additional Cessna ticket runway for departure.
For that, clear 335.
November 4886 Lima, you are following a yellow Piper Cub to about your 1 o'clock, 2.5 miles. Ground speed indicates 70 knots. They are a touch and go. Keep it slow. Number 3, runway 32, clear to land.
So this controller is doing a really good job right now.
Traffic, keeping it slow. 86 Lima.
He's keeping it standard. He gave the guy behind me really good information about my performance, which is going to help the guy behind me do his job. So I like what I hear so far.
152 Delta Mike, correct tower, hold short 32 at Echo, working your release.
Hold short 32, hold short 32 on Echo, 152 Delta Mike.
And the best thing I can do to help these guys out is
Archer traffic 4 miles north.
maintain a good space between me and the guy ahead of me without getting too slow. Because I know I can slow this thing down very quickly if I need to. So I like my speed, I'm 70. This looks and feels pretty good.
Craig Tower, 86 Lima is 2 miles.
886 Lima, roger. That Cub is still ahead of you there, 70 knots. Runway 32 still cleared to land. Just keep it as slow as you can.
So that Archer should be
5, left Alpha 3, ground point 8.
pulling off the runway any minute here.
Protect 446, traffic in sight yet, 11 o'clock and the right downwind now at 1,000 feet.
Yes, sir, traffic in sight.
Protect 446, let me know that. And early right downwind for runway 32, report midfield.
Right down for 32, report midfield, protect 446.
Nine Zulu Whiskey, we're out, that's traffic in sight, we're turning left to avoid.
9 Zulu Whiskey, roger. Protect 446, additional traffic to your 1 o'clock there is going to be passing behind you.
I've got him inside, sir, protect 446.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I really like how this guy's working traffic right now.
656 Charlie, Charlie, continue upwind, reaching 1,000 feet, make left traffic this fast.
Okay, climb the runway heading, then left traffic to 656 Charlie, Charlie. Runway heading to 1,000.
Lake Tower, we are right downwind for runway 32, and we like to do a touch and go.
71766, Quebec, runway 32, clear, touch and go, traffic's Cessna 152, departing prior to arrival.
Copy that, 716 Quebec.
Protect 446, number 2, runway 32, clear to land.
Block.
Protect 446, number 2, runway 32, clear to land.
Number 2, 32, clear to land, protect 446.
So passing through 700 feet, I know I got lots of options.
88 Lima, left Alpha 3,
For
ground point
safety.
86 Lima, go on the ground.
656 Charlie, Charlie, you can make that left traffic now, thanks.
656 Charlie, Charlie.
152 Delta Mike, runway 32 Echo, clear for takeoff, right turn heading 010 on departure, utilize minimal time on runway.
Clear for takeoff, 32, right turn 010 on takeoff, 152 Delta Mike.
I see some rain over there.
Yeah, We're not going to be in the air much longer, honey.
Okay.
Let's do one more touch and go and then a full stop, okay?
Okay.
That rain is pretty far away still, so we're fine. We'll do one more.
Check 345, number 1 on Echo, hold short 32, ready.
Check 345, Craig Tower, roger. Hold short 32 Echo, got one arrival, then we'll get you going.
Hold short 32 at Echo, check 345.
All right, I see a guy turning final right now. Craig Tower, Cub 656 Charlie, left downwind 32, touch and go.
Cub 656 Charlie, if you look at 11 o'clock, you'll see an Archer in the right base turn to final there. It's about 700 feet. You're number 2, runway 32, clear, touch and go.
Traffic inside, clear, touch and go, number 2 beyond the Archer, 656 Charlie.
6 Charlie, there will be an Archer departing prior to your arrival as well.
I'll give him space, 656 Charlie. See, that was all very, very nice.
I like watching all the tiny planes.
Yeah.
They look so tiny.
I'll get this guy just a
Emperor
little
152 Delta Mike, contact departure 124.9.
little bit more room.
Contact approach, departure 124.9. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
We'll use one notch of flaps on this one.
Whee!
Whee! You like that?
The ocean looks a lot more blue
Check
from
345,
above.
runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, right turn to north, approved.
Runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, right turn approved. Clear check 345.
So let's expect that 152 is going to be northbound 1,200.
Quebec, traffic inside.
Check 446, ground point 8.
Ground point Echo, jet 446.
For track 345, just keep it on the roll, please. Got a Piper Cub, about a mile final.
Picking up the base, 345.
So I'm getting ready to go around if I have to, but hopefully that guy will get off the runway.
Tower 2400 Foxtrot, holding short 32 Echo, ready for departure in the pattern.
Archer 400 Foxtrot, Craig Tower, hold short runway 32 at Echo.
Hold short 32 Echo, 400 Foxtrot.
Got 656 Charlie, following the Cessna short final, runway 32, cleared to land.
Looking for traffic, clear to land runway 32, 656 Charlie 4. And traffic inside.
Correct Tower, Skyhawk 909er 725, 10 north with Mike landing, requesting runway 5, we can hold short.
Skyhawk 9975 on request, report 4 miles north of the airport. You got the Archer 4 miles north of the airport at 1,600, opposite direction.
4 miles north, we'll be looking for the Archer, 725.
Charlie, we do have a banner tow, and they're only going about 30 knots, but they're setting up on about a 3-mile final for 2-3, so if you could keep your base turn tight to get inside of them.
I'm doing it already, just for fun, 656 Charlie.
Roger. 76 Quebec, ground point 8.
76 Quebec, ground point 8.
4377 Mike, you can turn inbound. There is a Cub and a short left base for 32. They're a full stop though. Turn inbound, and banner drop is approved on 23 sod.
Turning inbound, banner drop approved, 23 sod. We'll keep an eye out for the Cub. He'll be in way before us. That's like.
And Tower 550 Juliet, Kilo, visual runway 32.
550 Juliet Kilo, Craig Tower, slow it down as much as you can for me, and report 2 mile final runway 32. We do have a banner drop going on 23, shouldn't be a factor.
Alright, we'll slow down for you, Juliet Kilo.
Tower 656 Charlie Charlie, nice job today.
Thank you. You can contact ground 0.8, 656 Charlie Charlie.
0.8, yeah.
So in closing, if you're a pilot operating at a very busy towered field, whether it's Class Delta, Class Charlie, or even Class Bravo, I want you to remember your primary role is pilot in command. Even though you are required to abide by ATC's instructions, you have to make sure that those instructions make sense, that following an instruction isn't going to cause you or someone else harm, and you have to maintain situational awareness of what's going on around you. Because let's face it, controllers make mistakes, other pilots make mistakes. You don't want to end up the victim of someone else's mistake. So just please be careful out there. Keep your ears open, keep your eyes out the window, and just do your best. That's all we can ask. Thanks so much.